The story that once felt over isn't done just yet. Because this summer, everything Belly thought she knew about love, loyalty, and loss is about to be tested all over again. After that emotional finale that left everyone questioning where things would go next, the Summer I Turned Pretty season 4 picks up right where it left off, and this time, it's not just about who Belly ends up with, it's about who she becomes after everything falls apart. The love triangle that once defined her summers has finally calmed down, or so it seems. Conrad and Belly's reunion in Paris might have felt like the perfect fairy tale ending, but we all know life doesn't freeze when the credits roll. Now, months later, the reality of being together starts to hit. Because love, no matter how beautiful, gets complicated when the summer fades away. Conrad is trying to build a new life while holding on to Belly. But deep down, he's still haunted by the ghosts of Cousins Beach, the memories, the promises, and the pain he never really dealt with. Belly, on the other hand, is caught between the peace she's built for herself and the chaos that seems to follow. Whenever Conrad's around, she's grown, yes, but there's still that piece of her that belongs to that beach house, that summer, that version of herself she thought she'd outgrown. And as much as she tries to hold it all together, something about this new chapter feels off, like calm before a storm that's been building quietly in the background. Meanwhile, Jeremiah's name isn't spoken much, but his absence is loud. He's out there somewhere, living his own version of moving on. But every rumor, every whisper online about him, brings Belly right back to those confusing days when her heart belonged to two brothers. It's like she can't escape the past, no matter how many miles she puts between herself and Cousins. And now, whispers start to spread that Jeremiah's coming back into the picture. Not for love, not for drama, but because something's happening at the Fisher house. Something that will bring everyone together again, whether they like it or not. That's where the real tension begins. Because even though Belly and Conrad have finally found each other again, the moment Jeremiah walks back into that world, old emotions rise up like a tide. And this time, no one's pretending they're okay. The balance they thought they had? It's gone. Belly starts to question if what she and Conrad have is built on real love, or just nostalgia dressed up as destiny. There's a weight in every look, every silence, every mention of the past. Because let's be honest, some wounds don't heal just because the season changes. And as all this unfolds, Cousins Beach itself is changing too. The house that held their memories might not be standing for much longer. There are talks of selling it, of letting go for good, something that hits each of them differently. For Conrad, it's like losing a part of himself. For Belly, it's a sign that maybe the past is finally slipping away. But for Jeremiah, it's unfinished business. That house wasn't just a place, it was the heart of their story. And now, losing it feels like erasing everything they once were. The trailer for season 4 teases exactly that kind of emotional storm, flashes of tears, confrontations, and those quiet, haunting moments where characters stare into the distance, trying to hold back everything they don't have the words to say. The tone feels darker, more grown-up. The music slower, sadder. There's love here, but there's pain too. The kind that doesn't go away just because you finally got what you wanted. It's about realizing that every ending has its consequences, and every choice you make comes with a price, and somewhere in the middle of it all, Belly stands between who she used to be and who she's becoming. Torn between two brothers, two versions of love, and two worlds, the one she left behind and the one she's still trying to build. This time, there's no simple answer, no clear path. Because when summer turns into something colder, love gets harder to hold onto. And maybe, just maybe, this is the season where she finally has to face the truth that sometimes the right love comes at the wrong time. And growing up means learning to let go. Season 4 of The Summer I Turned Pretty isn't just about romance anymore. It's about what happens when time catches up to the people who once thought love could fix everything. Belly and Conrad might have found their way back to each other in that picture-perfect Paris ending. But now they're realizing that real life doesn't run on fairy tales. The spark is still there, the connection hasn't faded. But something about it feels heavier this time, more real, more fragile. Every argument they avoided before, every truth they never said, starts finding its way back to the surface. Because love built on old memories can only last so long before reality starts to test it. Belly tries to hold onto the version of herself that Paris helped her find, the independent girl who learned to stand on her own. But being back with Conrad pulls her into a space that feels both comforting and suffocating. She loves him, that's undeniable, but loving Conrad has always been complicated. He's still quiet when things get hard, still lost in his own thoughts, still trying to protect her by shutting down. And Belly's not that same girl who used to wait around for him to open up. She's tired of being the one who fills in the silence. She wants more than just fleeting moments and broken promises wrapped in beautiful apologies. And yet, when he looks at her with that same softness that once melted her heart, she forgets everything for a second because deep down, she knows she's never stopped wanting him. But Conrad isn't the only one carrying baggage. Belly is too. She's trying to rebuild herself after years of being defined by her relationships. But every time she looks at him, she's reminded of who she used to be. The girl torn between two brothers. She thought she left that part behind, but Jeremiah's return changes everything. The moment he shows up at Cousins, it's like time rewinds. The air shifts. The tension is thick. He's different now, older, quieter. But his eyes still hold that same warmth that used to make her feel safe. And even though she tells herself she's moved on, there's this unspoken energy between them. Like unfinished business that refuses to fade, Jeremiah's presence doesn't just shake Belly. It gets to Conrad too. The brothers have always been bound by love and guilt, but they've never truly faced what happened between them. Season 4 is finally forcing that confrontation. You can feel it building, that conversation they've both been avoiding since the beginning. Conrad's trying to stay calm, trying not to lose what he finally got. But Jeremiah's not here to play the quiet brother anymore. He's done being the one who loses. And this time, it's not even about Belly, it's about everything that's been boiling inside him. Years of comparison, resentment, and heartbreak that never got a voice. The show starts pulling back those emotional layers. We see flashbacks, moments we never got to witness before, the fights that happen off screen, the nights when both brothers thought they'd lost Belly for good, and the guilt that came with realizing how much they let Susanna's words shape their futures. For years, they believed they were destined to love the same girl. But what if they weren't? What if Susanna's dream of them being tied together was never a blessing, but a curse that kept them from growing up? That question lingers over every scene, every glance, every choice they make in Season 4. And Belly. She's caught in the middle again. But this time, she's not the same confused teenager. She's a woman who understands the weight of her choices and how much they've cost everyone around her. The summer glow that once made everything feel light and magical now feels bittersweet. Cousins Beach doesn't look the same anymore. The laughter is replaced with nostalgia, and every corner of that house feels haunted by memories that refuse to fade. The walls have seen it all, the joy, the heartbreak, the promises whispered late at night, and now, they're closing in on the truth that none of them want to face. What's different about this season is that there's no clear villain anymore. It's not about who hurt who. It's about how they all got lost trying to protect each other. The writing feels more mature, the tone more reflective. Belly starts to realize that she's been chasing closure in all the wrong places. Loving Conrad doesn't erase the pain, and losing Jeremiah doesn't fix it either. For once, she begins to focus on herself, her dreams, her future. The version of her that exists outside of who she's dating. But it's not easy because Conrad is still there. And so are the pieces of the life they build together. Then comes the biggest twist, a letter that changes everything. It's something Susanna wrote before she passed, meant to be opened years later. In it, she talks about love, grief, and how sometimes the people we love most are the ones who hold us back from becoming who we're meant to be. That letter becomes the emotional centerpiece of the season. It forces all three of them, Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah, to face what they've been avoiding. To admit that maybe loving each other wasn't destiny. Maybe it was just timing. Wrong time, wrong place, right people. As the season unfolds, we start to see the emotional distance between Belly and Conrad grow. Not because they don't love each other, but because sometimes love isn't enough. There's a moment in the trailer where Belly says, "I thought we made it," and Conrad just looks at her, silent, like he knows they didn't. It's not a breakup, but it's that quiet heartbreak that comes when you realize something perfect can't last forever. And just like that, the story we thought had ended starts to evolve into something deeper. It's not just about young love anymore. It's about growing up, letting go, and learning how to move forward when your heart is still tied to the past. Every shot, every line, every tear in this trailer feels like a goodbye to the innocence of summer. But at the same time, it feels like the start of something real. Something that might finally set them all free. Because maybe this isn't the end of Belly's story at all. Maybe it's just the part where she finally learns that sometimes love isn't about choosing who you want, it's about choosing yourself. Now the biggest question that everyone has been asking since the trailer dropped, how does it all end? Because if The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 4 really is the final chapter, then we already know it's not going to be a fairy tale. This story started with innocence, heartbreak, and those unforgettable summers at Cousins Beach. But now, it's about consequences. Every decision, every lie, every missed chance is coming back round. And none of them are walking away untouched this time. Belly's journey has always been about love. But now it's turning into something much deeper, identity. Who is she when the summer ends? Who is she when the people she's always leaned on finally let go? The trailer gives us just enough to keep us guessing, but the tone says it all. It's darker, heavier, almost like the end of something that's been building for years. Belly walks through the empty beach house one last time, and you can see it in her eyes. She's not the same girl who once stood there dreaming about love. She's lived it, she's lost it. And now she's realizing that sometimes the hardest thing in life isn't choosing between two people. It's choosing to move on from both. And that's where the real heartbreak lies. Because deep down, we all know she'll always carry pieces of both Conrad and Jeremiah with her. Jeremiah's storyline this season hits harder than expected. The way he looks at Belly now isn't out of longing anymore, it's acceptance. He's grown in ways that the others haven't. He's finally learned to love himself outside of being someone's choice. And that makes his scenes both painful and beautiful. We'll see him try to build something new. A different kind of happiness that doesn't depend on what could have been. But even with that growth, he can't help but feel the weight of the years he's spent chasing someone who was never fully his. That quiet kind of heartbreak, the one you don't show. The one you carry silently, that's Jeremiah this season. Conrad, on the other hand, is still battling himself. He wants to make it work, he really does. But he's starting to see that maybe love isn't enough when you're still haunted by your past. He's always been the one who overthinks, who hides behind his emotions, who ruins the good things before they can even begin. And now, he's realizing he's doing it again. The trailer shows glimpses of him standing alone by the ocean, that same distant look in his eyes, like he's watching the end before it even happens. The difference is, this time, he's not running. He's facing it. He's finally accepting that maybe letting Belly go isn't losing her, maybe it's saving them both. As for Belly, she's caught in this storm of reflection. She's no longer that girl who just reacts. She's finally thinking about what she wants. There's a moment in the trailer where she says, "Every summer, I thought love would save me. But maybe I was supposed to save myself." That line hits hard because it sums up her entire story. From the first season, Belly has been defined by her relationships, what Conrad thought of her, how Jeremiah made her feel, what Susanna expected from her. But now, it's about her rewriting her own narrative. The old version of her would have run back to whoever promised her the most comfort. But this version? She's learning to walk away, even when it hurts. And then comes the scene everyone's talking about, the wedding. The trailer teases it just enough to drive fans crazy. We see flashes of white flowers, sunlight through a window, and Belly standing in front of a mirror. But no groom in sight. It's the moment that has everyone speculating. Is it Conrad? Is it Jeremiah? Or is it no one at all? Maybe this isn't the wedding we think it is. Maybe it's a symbolic goodbye, a new beginning rather than an ending. Because one thing's clear, this season isn't about finding a perfect love story. It's about closure. It's about peace. The emotional heartbeat of the season comes from Susanna's final letter. The one we saw teased in Section 2, that letter becomes the key that unlocks everything. It's her voice guiding them one last time, reminding them that love isn't meant to trap you. It's meant to set you free. When Belly reads those words, you can see her finally understand what Susanna tried to teach her all along, that love changes. And that's okay. That sometimes loving someone means walking away before you destroy each other. It's a bittersweet realization, but it's also the moment Belly finally grows up. In the final act, Cousins Beach feels like a memory, soft, faded, and distant. The last scene might just be Belly walking along the shore, waves touching her feet. The same place where everything once began. But this time, there's no running, no crying, no looking back. Just quiet acceptance. She's not waiting for anyone anymore. And that's the most powerful ending she could have. Because for the first time, she's not the girl between two brothers, she's her own person still. The writers leave just enough mystery to keep fans talking. The final shot in the trailer shows a letter being placed in a drawer with a date written on it. Summer 2026, a hint, maybe, that this story might not be over after all. Whether it's a time jump, a movie, or just a symbolic nod to what comes next. It's clear that The Summer I Turned Pretty isn't just about young love anymore. It's about growing up, facing your ghosts, and learning that every ending is just another beginning in disguise. So, as the story continues, we're left with one thought: maybe this isn't about choosing between Conrad or Jeremiah. Maybe the real story has always been about Belly choosing herself, and finally realizing that the only love that truly lasts is the one you build within.